And welcome back to 10 out of 10 Mood Watch Again with Lorna and Russ.
Hello.
Last week we did our horror trope episode. Thank you very much for the love. I know it was something a wee bit different, but we loved it, and the amount of messages we got of being like, I was proper howling, so like, thank you very much. But we thought this week we would take a movie that takes every single one of those tropes and just throws everything, like literally everything and the kitchen sinks in this film. So we're doing one of our favourite horror comedies, 2012's Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
Hit us with your partner, Ross.
It was released April 2012, directed by Drew Goddard, starring Kristen Connolly, Chris Hemsworth, Richard Jenkins, Bradley Whitford and Big Sigourney Weaver.
Hey.
Like, they're kind of the big names in it.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I only know two of those names, so cool.
The budget of 30 million and a box office of 66.5.
Only 66
Only
and a half?
66.5.
This movie's class.
Disgraceful.
Right, okay.
I think it found more thingy in like DVDs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll get into that actually in thoughts and opinions. We'll talk about that for a bit. So, general overview. Group of college kids go for a piss up in a cabin, only to find out there is a larger sacrifice set up to keep the ancient gods fed and happy so that the world doesn't end.
Pretty much, eh?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Fucking piss up.
So why do you love this film?
I mean, it's just a weird movie.
Yeah.
Like the trailer makes out to be this horror thing, but it's just not that at all. Like, it's a kind of weird comedy, satire. Like, it's just a good fun all around.
Totally. I think, like, the first time you see this movie and you don't really know what to expect, it totally scalps you. Like, you're on a different kilter, you're off kilter the whole time.
Oh, definitely, aye.
And then, like, obviously the second time you watch it, you're more, like, picking up the things you missed before. And then at this point, we've seen it that many times that it's like a background film and we can just talk through it. But that doesn't, saying it's a background movie doesn't take away from the fact that it's a good movie. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's definitely one of the movies, though. The first time watching it,
hits different.
Aye. Especially because you don't expect what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the way it does pan out. It just makes it it's a lot more, no better, but not knowing what's going on is...
Yeah, totally. This is one of those films that, like, if somebody said they've not seen it, you're like, sit down and let me show you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll dive into thoughts and opinions. So, obviously, you touched on, like, the trailer. Actually made us pause the film last night when we were watching. I was like, let me put the trailer on, just to make sure that I was right. The trailer really does set it up as if it's just going to be your bang average, like, college piss up horror film. There's even like new metal in the trailer, like our beloved, and like it looks, I know there's bits in the trailer it's like you think it's this but it's something else, and then obviously when you start watching it and the first thing is like the guys in the office at the water cooler and you're like, the fuck's going on? Do you know what
just
I mean?
cut straight into it. Doesn't really mess about. It's just they two on the wee buggy.
Yeah, and then it's just like biff, cabin in the woods and you're like, oh thank fuck. Right,
imagine seeing the trailer, so I'm going to go see this in the cinema.
Yeah.
Then the first scene is they two talking about like he's having to undo all the baby proofing for a kid he might not have.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like,
totally.
But it worked. It really worked.
No, definitely. I'm sure I did, because I was asking you this last night. I did go to the cinema to see this, but I couldn't remember if I went with you or if I went with Lee.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that was one of those ones where like we were sitting and we were looking at each other like, is it right? I cool. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I know we don't do that before. This is like a slight divot before we go back in. I know we don't do a discount version of anymore, but don't tell me that the stoner guy in this is not a discount version of Faramir from Lord of the Rings.
Fuck off.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'll give you.
Thank you. Right, anyway, back to the actual movie.
I just want to get into like the plot and how bizarre this is. So obviously we said it starts with they two but they're basically manufacturing like the deaths of these people
to sacrifice them to like the ancient gods of old, to basically let them not end the world kind of thing.
Which in turn, like, but there has to be on their own, like they have to make their own choices.
Yep.
But they can, as he says, they can push them along to do this stuff.
It's rigged as much as it can be, but at the end it has to be through free will.
Yeah. And how do you come up with, like, who comes up with these plans?
Yeah. Like, I want to know, like, what is this an all year thing? Like, what's the board meeting like on the Monday, you know? Like, because obviously, like, it shows you in the office, there's all the screens of, like, Japan and Stockholm and all this kind of thing. So obviously there's like, I don't want to say like different departments, different branches, if you will, like all over the world. Like they all need to do this on the same day. So like, what like are we in meetings with Stockholm? Are we traveling abroad? Is it, oh darling, I'm away to Stockholm for a work trip, but actually you're planning the murder of these five
people?
These five like teenager / 20 somethings to save the world kind of thing.
It must be all year round because they start doing all the chem stuff with the hair dye and was it his weed or the whatever they done to him but it didn't work.
Yeah.
So it must be planned basically as soon as they're finished. So I'm like, right, we need to start for next year.
I want to know how they pick. How do they how did they pick this specific group? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I've got a few bits there in A that I want to go over.
Okay, perfect.
But I don't really think I've not seen a horror movie where you're seeing behind the scenes of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's such a weird, like, it's a weird focus thing on it, but it's like more funnier and it's just as good as the main horror parts of this.
It's the total juxtaposition of it, like when you're in, like, I know I keep saying like corporate, but you know what I mean. Like this is obviously a bit more than corporate, but when you're in the kind of corporate bit and it's like even when they're taking bets and all this kind of thing, and then it goes back to them and it is your kind of standard Evil Dead horror movie kind of vibe, and then it cuts back. Even the bit where like she is like getting absolutely battered, like absolutely ruined off the zombie gang, and they're all drinking and la, but it's just like
celebrating.
It's like the screen of her getting absolutely decimated and everyone else like, great job this year, well done, maintenance, blah blah blah.
Yeah, it is a good blend of like the humour and the satire of the horror genre.
Yeah.
So it's kind of poking fun at the usual cliches of these movies.
Totally.
And like, it's almost making fun of you for liking it.
Yeah.
But it is weird. Like, I can't really explain how, like, this shouldn't work.
No, I know.
But for some reason it does. And I'm surprised there's not been more like that after the success of this.
I had that as well of like, I can't remember if I put it in my A or not, but I'll just say it now. So you've got the corporate side of it where they are like planning this and they've obviously spent however long. They need to find this like specific group and like manipulate it to fit the roles. So you've got the whore, the fool, the athlete, the scholar, and the virgin, which is basically your archetypes of horror movies. But it's the way they like manipulate them, which I'll get into in about 5 minutes. But even like the other countries doing it, you could have had like sequels or like spin-off TV shows or something. I was saying this to you last night. Even when they go into like the basement, when the kids go into the basement and that's how they have to like pick what's coming for them. Yeah. There's like so much stuff in the background as well that like they don't touch. Like obviously they pick up the kind of Hellraiser ball. There's the ballerina music box. She's got a necklace. The stoner guy doesn't really touch anything, and
he's got the right idea.
He's probably like, we should go. And your gal picks up the like Buckner diary, but in the background there's like film reels, there's axes, there's like weird like toys and all this kind of thing. And obviously later on when you get into the corporate thing and you see that they literally have every monster you can ever think of, like it is mad that, especially now where everything is spin-offs, prequels, sequels, things are being made into TV shows, blah blah blah, like you could just do like a different, like every season is this, do you know what I mean? It's like a kind of monster of the week every series, but you could put in like this is why we need to do this, because I think this film gives you enough without telling you too much. Do you know what I mean? Where like when you're in the corporate bit, it's like, oh, upstairs need this, so we need to keep them happy downstairs, and this is why we're doing it. And even when like they bless the your gal Chris Hemsworth bird when she dies, they're like, oh, blessed be, thank you very much. Yeah. And then they immediately go in and talk about something else. Yeah.
It's even out with like the universe of this. Mm-hmm. Why there's been no other like movies like kind of meta. Like obviously, like, I think Scream was like that's probably your biggest one. But you think after the success of this, people would be doing what like these things are making fun of by like, let's just copy it.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the biggest things in the movie industry in general. Is that if something's a success, other like studios that will just basically rip the arse off it.
Yeah, and the whole trope just gets drove right into
I'm surprised that never happened.
Yeah, I do. I love the meta humor of all of this. Even like when the Harbinger, like, so when the college students go to the gas station and he's like just this like hick kind of guy running it, and he's total arsehole, and he's like, oh, getting there is fine, it's getting back, blah blah blah. And then when he phones them in the office and he's like, the Harbinger of Doom has said, and they are pissing themselves laughing at him.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. And he's been like, get me off loudspeaker and all this. Like, I love that it's just like every time they set up a horror thing, they immediately whip the rug right under it. Do you know what I mean? Like
I've got for the meta narrative of this movie is just the actors not
the meta narrative.
Yeah.
Ooh, the meta narrative.
Juxtaposition. You've not used that word in your life. Who are you kidding?
Oh my god, are we intelligent, Ross? Anyway, sorry, carry on.
So the meta narrative of this is that even like the actors not just know the roles.
Yep.
And obviously they should. I mean, there's been the most overused roles in horror.
Yeah, man.
But they just play it up something awful.
100%.
Like, it's just a good time.
Yeah, totally. I think that's the thing is like, see, everybody they got was obviously incredibly on board with it, because this movie could have fallen apart at any point. To be. Because there's other movies we've seen where it's tried to do like the meta thing and it's like, ugh. Like you're just being a dick about it, do you know what I mean? What I love as well is that they're all like, the start of the film when you actually meet the college students, they're all like incredibly smart. They're all doing like economics, sociology, and it's kind of shown at the start that they're all super sound and really smart and stuff, and then it's the way they've been manipulated as the rest of the movie goes on. So like to become the different tropes. So obviously the main gal, whose name I can't remember, she's supposed to be like the virgin, even though it tells you at the start of the film that she was just sleeping with a professor. And then obviously Sigourney Weaver says that at the end of like, we work with what we have. Do you know what I mean? Your other gal who dyed her hair blonde and they put chemicals in the blonde hair dye, so she becomes the dumb blonde. Obviously you've got like the pheromone gas and all this kind of thing that's making them the horny teenagers. Chris Hemsworth's Letterman jacket's got like stuff in it to make him this like alpha male aggro type. And then the stoner guy originally had his weed laced, but then they say later on that like the chem department fucked up and gave him the wrong one, so he's just been immune to all this shit. It's
not even that, it's just he smoked that much that he's immune to the effects.
Amazing.
I don't think the chem department gave him enough. Like it was too weak.
Yeah. And like they drug the beer and all that kind of stuff. Like it's so funny how like they know what they need to do. Do you know what I mean? It's so funny. No, 4 out of 10.
Like, shout out to the stoner dude, because for him being the fool, and he's like the most resourceful at the moment. He's the one that actually gets shit done.
Totally. I do have one problem with him, but I'm keeping that for A. But I'm totally with you. Like he's the one. My favourite bit is like when he's obviously sitting talking all these conspiracy theory pish, and then he goes through his room and there's that ghost voice of like, take a walk. And he's like, I'm my own puppet. I'm the master of myself.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a walk. It's so funny.
It is good at like subverting your expectations in this movie. Especially even the likes of like Chris Hemsworth coming off like Thor. You knew he was going to be in Avengers. Like he was becoming a big deal.
Well, that was genuinely going to get out my head, right? Going to stop stealing all my thoughts and opinions, right? Because genuinely the next thing I was going to say was I think this movie's really smart on how it uses Chris Hemsworth because, like you say, he was fresh off Thor. In 2012 alone, he had, is it Red Dawn? The remake of the 80s movie?
I think
something like that. I also went to go see that. This, and then Avengers came out.
Yeah, the month after this.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, I've got things in useless information, but this movie was actually made, like, before all of this.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be.
Yeah. But, like, I think it's really smart that, obviously, you've got Chris Hemsworth, like, Thor, about to be in Avengers, also in Red Dawn, he's, like, the ass-kicking big brother, and then you've got him in this, and it's, like, so funny. His death is like the funniest one. Do you know what I mean? I
think it's kind of a shout out to like having your name actor dying. Like Tycho, he was a big deal. Obviously, dies at the start, and he's not quite the start, but just fucking.
It's funny. It's so good.
He eats shit so badly in that.
So he's on his motorbike. So like all this other stuff went down. They went to go away, and the corporate guys blow up the tunnel so that they can't get away, and he's got his motorbike and he's like, right, I'm gonna jump the gorge, man. I'm gonna come back with police choppers and a fuckload of guns. And he like revs up ready to go and hits this like invisible force field fucking immediately and just like tumbles.
You just see him scraping down
so funny, man. So funny.
The first time seeing it, that was a shock. I mean, I would have seen this after the Avengers, and that's all like, oh, Chris Hemsworth's fucking, he's Thor, big deal. Obviously, I don't think if it was to happen nowadays, if this was to be released in a minute, I think it would have went different. Because like the Avengers,
because he's Chris Hemsworth
it's such
now,
a far bigger,
a
far bigger fucking celebrity actor on that now than what he was then. But fucking gets me every time, man.
Totally, man, totally. I'm totally with you. Like if they'd made this now and still used Chris Hemsworth, he would need to be like the final guy or something. Do you know what I mean?
You couldn't use him there, I don't think.
But nah, totally. But I always like when there's stuff like this. Like obviously, this is when he was on the rise kind of thing, so he could get away with making pish, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Whereas now he just makes pish. Like, I think as well, and I know I say this every time it is a thing, but the practical effects in this just absolutely get me. The makeup they do, and especially when you see like all the different monsters, like most of it is makeup. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, guys, come on, people, like let's get on.
The creature design in that of this movie, I mean, obviously a lot of it's been taken from like classical monsters and that, but they've just added their own thing. Like you've got Pinhead, but it's actually a guy that's just got like
hacksaws in his
You've, when the system purge happens, you've got the people with the masks and that. I imagine that's for
like the Strangers or something.
Strangers, or it could be the Purge. Like that scene. So
had the Purge been out by this point? I remember when you and me went to go and see the first Purge, and we were so disappointed, man. Like, love.
It wouldn't have been out. So no.
Really? When did the Purge come out?
2013.
Shut up.
So they copied us clearly.
Oh,
rat bastard.
Well, I don't know if we'll be able to fit the Purge in for Halloween, but the Purge will be on our list, right? Because we have thoughts and opinions.
The second one is the good one.
Right, okay, we'll do the second one. We'll do the second one. Yep, Big Frank Grillo.
But yeah, like the idea, obviously they need to come up with these monsters and just copy them and that. Even though they're kind of similar, like classic ones, they're creepy. They're still creepy as shit.
Yeah, man, totally. Like, the ballerina with like the 5 different jaws in her face and all that kind of thing. And I do like as well that, like you say, when they're in the lift and you see all of the monsters that they've got, and you do have your classic ones, like there's still a vampire, there's still a werewolf, there's still a ghost, and then there's all the different ones from like kind of changing from different movies. I've actually got some stuff about that and used some information that I think you'll quite like. But I do love that about this, that it does take like your kind of classical horror elements, but always sticks the twist on it. The merman is like with the blood coming out the blowhole and all that. Ridiculous. I'm so here for it. I mind like the first time with the lift bit when they were going down and that werewolf jumps out and I fully shit myself. Like I feel like you're kind of going and it jumps between the corporate and the haunted house, and then as soon as they get in the lift and go down, this movie goes like ramps up to a 15. Do you know what I mean? It's like a whole new level of chaos. And like when they release all the monsters and then the lift doors just keep opening and it's just blood
chaos
on blood and everyone's going mental. It's nuts, absolutely nuts.
The pacing in this movie is really good. I mean, it's only a 95-minute film, so they have to cram it all in. But as you say, it starts off, most horror movies that nicey, then as soon as like they get down to that bit, it's a bit messy. Like for my liking,
really?
It kind of falls apart a wee bit for me. But like you said, as soon as she hits that system purge, it's the whole thing's fucked. Like.
Totally. No, I get what you mean. About it kind of falling off at the end a wee bit. It does kind of feel a bit, and I do have my own issues with the end that I'll get into in A. I get what you mean, but I do love when you kind of like see all the carnage and then randomly the fucking unicorn pops up and I'm like, wait a minute, what's happening here? Like, also just even when... So basically the reason it all goes to shit is they start celebrating too early, basically. They think everyone's died and it's the virgin left and basically it's kind of optional on whether the virgin lives or dies. But your stoner guy, whose name I cannot remember, he's the fool, and they thought he died, but he didn't. So basically, he needs to die, or the whole thing's fucked, and the world's over, and blah, blah, blah. And then it's just a pure, like... It's borderline now, that bit in, like, Scooby-Doo movies, where they all run in and out of doors, and 1 minute the monster's chasing them, then they're chasing the monster kind of thing. That's the vibe of the end of the film, do you know what I mean? And... Again, I was trying to talk about this movie without bringing him up because we know now that Joss Whedon's an arsehole, right? But obviously Joss Whedon helped to write this film. I think he produced it too. And if you're familiar with Joss Whedon, this really, like, it's very on brand for Joss Whedon, you know? Like, he loves a good... I mean, if you've ever seen fucking Buffy, do you know what I mean? Like... He loves a good make it super scary and then make them laugh halfway through. And I think it's the right amount of Joss Whedon. Like, obviously, after this, when he did Avengers, I liked it, but I know that one of the moans was like that it was too quippy and it was too like hee hee ha ha, let's get shawarma kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? I liked it, but
this is probably going to be one of the very few movies that I would say that I could do with an extra 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, just more build-up before they get down to the headquarters.
Yeah, a bit more explaining.
Yeah, because the fool just appears from nowhere.
Aye.
Like, again, and I was like, they could probably have more with him, because he's only got his... up until that point, he's only got his one bit where he gets, like, burst through the window of the cabin.
Yeah.
And he hits the guy with the bong coffee, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
So, probably another, like, could have another couple scenes with him and like even just have them just messing a bit, like trying to figure this out.
Yeah. And a bit more of like, how did you manage to trap the gods down there? And like, who have you taken this over from? Like, I want a bit more about like the corporate side of it, of like, right, okay, because now they were like, oh, remember when we could just throw a girl into a volcano? Like, is this how long that, like, obviously you, like the way they've said, like, you would just chuck a virgin in a volcano and everything would be fine, but like then how is it escalated into this huge corporation with all the different departments and you've got all these different scenarios going on? Like, I would love to see that, do you know what I mean? Like, I
definitely,
because like I think the corporation part is my favourite part of the film because like it is so different, do you know what I mean? Like what was that other movie we watched? Totally different vibe. But they all work in like this huge office and then it turns out they don't actually work there. It's like they all start killing each other or something.
Oh, how they get locked in?
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I can't remember the name.
They're all at the start of the film and they're all like, oh, we get paid incredibly, blah, blah, blah. And then it becomes kind of like, it turns out they don't actually have a job. It's like a social experiment kind of thing.
No, I get
and it's like, who's going to kill who and all that. That kind of shit is so interesting to me. Do you know what I mean? Of just like, how have we got to this? Do you know what I mean?
Belko Experiment.
Belko Experiment. That was good. I really liked that. With your man from Scandal / Ghost. Also, just beautiful cameo from our gal Sigourney Weaver. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's good. 5 minutes. Huh?
Yeah, totally. Like, comes in. explains the point of it, and then gets chucked. Do you know what I mean?
That's
like,
it,
beautiful. I do have some thoughts, but I'm saving them for A.
Yeah, I've got a few A's, but they're nothing too crazy.
Yeah, no worries.
Aye.
So, what's your favourite scene?
Oh, it's got to be the motorbike bit.
Oh, really?
Aye,
Okay.
every time.
Yeah. You know when something's really, really funny when you do that proper, like, tee hee hee laugh.
It's the most ridiculous scene. Like, just for... Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. And you're not
so
expecting
funny.
it at all.
No.
You're not expecting
Like
it
I said,
at all.
first time you see this, if you don't laugh, I don't know why not. Because it's just so out the blue.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially, as I said, after seeing Chris Hemsworth and that, it's not as nah, he'll survive this movie, but it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Mine's is just the part where all the SWAT guys are in the office and then all you hear is like, bing, and then all these monsters come out and just absolutely, like, it's just so funny, man. I was between that and the one I've got for my favourite death, but I'll stick to that one.
Yeah.
Right, I'll dive into some useful information because some of this stuff you'll like.
Yeah.
So the movie's opening was a deliberate red herring from the director to make audiences think that they walked into the wrong movie.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The film was originally due to come out in 2010, but due to MGM going bankrupt, this movie was shelved before Lionsgate saw the finished product and they released it. Lionsgate's another one. I actually meant to say this earlier. They're a hit and miss production group.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Fuck,
if you see Lionsgate, it's either going to be excellent or fucking awful, and there's no in between. The thermal mug / bong that's in the film was a fully functional product and was originally going to be made as a promotional souvenir for the film, but the prototype cost $5,000, so they obviously didn't make it for public release. When Jules, that's her name. I'm so glad I wrote her name down somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Everything else in my notes is just, you're gal, and I'm like, and what gal is that now, Lauren? Do you know what I mean? When Jules kisses the wolf, they covered the teeth and tongue in powdered sugar to give it a dustier effect and make it more tolerable for the actress.
Fair enough, huh?
So the body count is 69. Hey. Also another in-joke from the director, but the actual body count is like the end of the world. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was an interview where somebody asked the director if there was going to be a sequel, and he was like, did you watch the last 5 minutes of the movie? Also, one of the there's the next couple of bits I thought was really cool. One of the monsters on the board during the betting scene is just called Kevin, and apparently this is a tribute to Elijah Wood's character in Sin City. The director said that it was one of the most chilling modern performances he'd seen. So shout out Elijah Wood. Elijah Wood's creepy as fuck in Sin City, I'll give him that. In the shot where all the monsters, where they're in the lift and you see all the monsters, you briefly see 4 monsters from the Left 4 Dead game series.
Nice.
Their cameo was included as part of a game expansion pack where players would have to fight the different monsters in Cabin in the Woods.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Totally. The other countries whose missions failed are tributes to other classic horror movies. Japan is obviously in reference to Ringu or The Ring. Buenos Aires is in reference to King Kong. Stockholm is in reference to John Carpenter's The Thing. And Madrid is a reference to Dracula. Not being funny, did not clock any of that when we watched the movie. And I know we've seen this movie like a million times, so the next time we watch it, we'll have a look at the wee screens.
I mean, the Tokyo one's the obvious one, because you see more about that. They talk about it, being the ring and that. So.
It's all just like the kind of side, the other tellies
like
of the side.
They bring that up, obviously, as the guy screaming like, fuck you at the children and that. So, aye. No, I get that.
Kiko lives her life as a happy frog.
Fuck you.
Heather Langenkamp, I hope I said that right, who played Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street, was one of the special effects makeup artists on the movie along with her husband. That's what she does now. And I just thought that was really cool. I wonder if I want them to have just hired her because she's Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street, you know? But I love that that's her thing now.
I might as well use your name if you can.
100%. There wasn't really any who should have been in this film. The only one I've got is that Jamie Lee Curtis was originally asked to be the director, but had to turn it down due to scheduling conflicts, so the role went to Sigourney Weaver. Bruce Campbell was also asked, but he wasn't up for it.
Strange. I wonder why not.
Yeah,
He's
totally.
normally up for it.
No,
Opening
totally.
a letter, he'll be there.
But that's I was looking for more just in case there was any like, I don't know, whoever else was big in 2012. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if they were going to be in it. But no, this movie was very like, it was Drew Goddard's first one, kind of lower budget than what would normally be. So they just kind of took who they got.
Oh, fair this.
Do you want to dive in?
So, right, I'll just jump in then. So, see for the groups where you have to have the Virgin, the Fool and all that, what is it for Tokyo?
Oh yeah, because they're all like 10 years old. Do you know what I mean? Like,
so it's not like you can't
really measure
the
that.
groups,
Yeah. I wonder if it's like different criteria for like different. I mean, I don't really know how many old gods you need to stop them from ruining the world. Do you know what I mean? But I wonder if it's like that. Yeah. I want that in the spin-off TV show.
There was more than 5 of them as well. So
it was a whole classroom, wasn't it? Yeah. And also, how did they just know to be like, let's get a wee bowl of water and we'll turn it into a frog? How
did they turn that? Like, what did they pick up to make it the ghost?
The
Ringu woman.
I want this spin-off.
Yeah. Also, the idea of a system purge, like a button that releases all these monsters. Why is that a thing?
So fucking stupid, especially if like everything in your like building is that dangerous.
Yeah, will fuck you up. They need to be like basically putting cells.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do you have a button that releases them all? What need is there for that?
Yeah. I know obviously there is the big red detonation button and all of these kind of things just in case, but like, why?
Yeah, like,
why do you need a system
what
purge?
The idea is you'd release all these. That and the God's requirements. It's kind of bizarre to me that they would need a virgin, a fool, and all that. Like, who came up to the idea for them? It's like, by the way, this is what I'm going to give you.
Yeah. I like we were saying before, like obviously, like they say, like, oh, it used to be good when you could just throw a lassie in a volcano, but now it's obviously like there's like categories you need to hit. Do you know what I mean?
Like, why would they risk having like such a convoluted and like a riskier method of sacrifice for them?
Yeah, like you have to find a group of like five, like so that you can kind of already have something like this, but can be manipulated into.
I think the gods were kind of like an idea added on. I think it maybe ended up. Probably would have ended with them just going to the headquarters, like going down below and getting it.
Yeah.
But I think the gods were kind of just added in last minute. I get that feeling. I don't know. I might be wrong there, but they were kind of just slapped on into it.
Yeah, like I mean, yeah. If they'd, because obviously the whole way through the movie they're talking about upstairs, downstairs, like, oh, we're getting instructions from upstairs, and then there's the shake when they're like, oh, they're getting excited downstairs, all that kind of stuff, right? But you don't know that it's gods. It could have literally been anything. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Like I think it must. The gods are kind of just put into it.
Okay. I don't like, and I don't mean to be a dick, but I don't, because they are literally setting it up the whole way through that it is this huge thing. Do you know what I mean? Like that it is a sacrifice. Like in amongst all the high tech corporate stuff, they've got like the old thingies that they pull down, and the blood has to go down, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, I understand it, but I
think the gods have always. I don't know if it's specifically been the gods, but it's got to have been this other higher power that they know they need to serve. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Which, at the end of the day, it's got to be like gods, isn't it? If you're talking about a fucking higher power,
it's just a weird bit. It's just a weird add-on to me.
Yeah, I do get what you mean. Like, I get what you mean at the end of the film, where like Sigourney Weaver just pops up and it's this fucking elaborate like blood into stone carving kind of things. I get what you mean. Like, it does seem a bit like, ta-da, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think the end of the film could have been executed a bit better, and yeah, I wouldn't have minded if it wasn't gods. Like, I'd have been quite happy if they never even said, you know, see if it was just like, oh, the corporation does all this for the higher whatevers. Like, see, even the way they were talking about it the whole way through of like, oh, orders from upstairs or stuff like that. Like, I'd have been quite happy if they'd just kept up the corporate speak, you know, like the whole way through, so you don't actually know what it's for. Do you know what I mean?
If they made it so it was like not a cult thing, but they were doing this for even like some of these movies you get when it's like, oh, the people are paying them to do this to people.
Yeah.
Was like kind of stuff like type films, but it's not. Obviously, more comedic in this.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe would have worked better rather than adding the sacrifices in that.
Okay. Yeah,
like,
I get what you
can
mean.
still add the monsters and that make it like make it a comedy, like just bizarre. But I think it would have worked better.
Okay. I get what you mean. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Have you got any?
Mine's are kind of all to do with the end of the movie, to be honest. Like
the ending's
it's
really weak, in my
it's
opinion.
weak, yeah. Like the whole movie's strong up until the end. Like
probably the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, genuinely, like, yeah. So obviously when you see the guy with the hacksaws in his face that's supposed to be like the kind of Hellraiser vibe, what is the point in him? Because you never see him actually killing anybody in the like system purge bit. He just walks about ominously.
Yeah.
You know? Like, also, I meant to actually say this and use this information. When they think the fool has died and they hit the switch to put the blood down, there's like a tremor, and he says, oh, they're getting excited downstairs. Apparently that's the hint of that, no, they're fucking raging because they know you fucked up. Do you know what I mean? And even like when they go to maintenance mines and they're like, oh, the tunnel didn't blow up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is a glitch that came from upstairs, and they're like, what the fuck? So it's like they're all trying to be like, no, yous are fucking this up, and they're just not listening kind of thing. Also, what is the beef for the unicorn, man? Like, poor man out. Like, everyone else is like a pure monstrosity. And yeah, fair enough, the unicorn kills the guy with the horn, but I was like, why is he down there? Like,
some of the monsters in it are like the betting pool bit. Like, some of them are just like,
so funny.
Some of it, like Merman, shout out to Merman.
100%. Also as well, right, surely, like, so when the system purge happens, and obviously everybody's getting murdered, right? I know the original, like, the whore, the fool, the athlete, blah, 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 is all this one group of 5, right? But at this point, this whole building has been eaten by different monsters. So surely one of them could just count as the fool. Do you know what I mean? And then the virgin still lives. Yeah,
they're far more sacrifices than
do you know what I mean?
They needed.
That's how I was like, I understand it needs to be this specific group of 5, but surely there could be some allowances because you've murdered your whole building. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you're getting more people.
Yeah.
So surely it'd be better for them.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a wee bit of a, hey, what's happening here? Because also, if all of this had went the way it had been planned, fuck that clean up on Monday, by the way.
I know that. I wonder, I would like a movie where, like, about the cleaners. Because obviously, how do they get the monsters back in the cages?
Yeah.
Especially like that big serpent thing that comes out. How do they recapture that?
Well, mind they say that they're like, oh, you don't want a merman, the clean up on them's awful and all that. It's like, yeah, I want like, know how the American Office? Yeah. I want that, but in this office, and it's just them all talking shit like, oh fuck like
that. That's a hell of a job to.
100%.
Fucking be the cleaners and that.
Whoever's a good scriptwriter and all that, I've just fucking landed this in your lap. I want an office themed drama, but about the corporation and the cabin in the woods. Make it fucking happen, guys. Thank you. There are better looking and smarter people than me that will make it funnier. This is my last one, but this is my fucking biggie, right? And I was getting right annoyed watching it. So obviously, Big Sigourney comes out and says, if yous live, the whole fucking world dies, right? Like, everyone, endless torture, horrific deaths, the world's over, right? And the stoner guy is like, oh my god, but you killed my friends, so my pals need to die because you're... What? He is such a selfish prick, like, by the end of the film, because it's like, right, I get it, nobody really wants to die, right? But it's you or the entire fucking world. And I know there's the whole bit about the start of like, oh, the world needs a reshape, blah, blah, blah. This isn't a reshape. Like, the gods are coming up to fucking end everything. Like, life as we know it is over. Civilization's gone. There will be no Earth. Do you know what I mean? And like, you can't just take a fucking bullet like a champ and save the rest of us just because all your pals have died. Now all my pals need to die.
He's going to die regardless.
Well, that's what I mean. You're going to die regardless, so why not do it fucking saving the world? I was watching this and I was like, nah, Sigourney, I'm on your fucking side.
They fuck them over, fuck them.
Honestly, I was watching this last night and I was like, I think I'm the big corporation bad boy, do you know what I mean? Because I was sitting there and I was like, fucking Sigourney's got a point, by the way. 5 people for the entire world.
Nah, fuck that. Get up them. That's
No.
their fault they messed up. If they'd done their job correctly, this...
Yeah, they messed up, right? But, like, this is the entire world. Like, done, gone, cheated by.
Aye.
And, like, you're sitting there being like, fuck this. Like, and, like, obviously at the start they're having the big thing of, like, oh, the world needs a restructure. This isn't just a restructure, my man. This is obliteration. Do you know what I mean? Take the fucking bullet, that champ, and thank you for your time.
The final girl's not going to survive either.
Well, she's optional, but that's what I mean.
No, I don't mean optional. I mean more the fact that she now knows this happens. Do you think they're going to keep her alive?
True. Yeah, true. That's what I'm saying though, is like him and Sigourney are having the big fucking graft, like they're having the big fight at the end, and it's like, mate, all you need to do is just jump in and you're good to go. Honestly, I was watching it last night getting so annoyed. I was like, aye, very good, so all my pals need to go because your pals fucking went. Nah, bolt.
Actually,
I don't know what kind of person I've just outed myself to be, you know, but like, nah.
Yeah, because it would have fucked up the following year anyway, because that place is gone.
Oh, aye. Oh,
like,
no, they
want to rebuild and do all that in a year. Like, the world's ending anyway, all the monsters coming out.
Aye, and obviously it's failed in every other city, so of course, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way that was going to recover.
There's no way I could financially recover.
Yeah, I think it was kind of gubbed, regardless.
I fucking I was so annoyed watching it last night because I like when this movie ended, you were like, "Are you alright?" And I was like, "I'm fine." I was in such a huff about it. Have you got anything else, or are we bouncing into best kill, worst kill?
No, that's me. All good.
Stunning. So my worst kill is the guy who gets swallowed in one gulp by the giant snake. Like, that's just awful. And my best kill is your man getting eaten by the merman, because that is so fucking funny. Like, every time I'm like cackling, do you know what I mean?
Mine doesn't really kill, it's just shout it back out to the motorbike again.
Yeah.
Like, that's the best death. I mean, the worst one's kind of, you see the cameras and it shows you them just like stabbing people when it goes through the CCTV.
Yeah.
I mean, they're kind of just boring for the some of the people they had, but the best death for me is the go by the motorbike. That's it for me. 4
out of 10.
Aye.
Have you got a worst guy whose hairline just eaten?
Got the chem guys.
Yeah.
It was there for them. Like,
dickheads, man.
If they'd done their jobs, then like this wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. I've just got the stoner guy, and I do mean it from a place of love, I really do. But it's got to be him, like, you're annoyed that they've murdered all your pals, so now all my pals need to die, and the whole world needs to end because you're being a dickhead. Fucking shitebag parter, man. Absolute shitebag parter. I don't know, I like to think that it would be like, if the world is going to end and literally everyone in this world is going to die unless you, like, jump down there. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, no bother. Like, absolute shitebag patter. Like, I'd be like, Trips, live a good life. Do you know what I mean? Just like, you know, but I would want a hullabaloo afterwards. You know, I would want like, see the Buffy thing where it's like she saved the world a lot. I want something like that. I want like a St. Lawrence Day. Like, I want you to fucking know that I saved you, and see if you don't. You personally.
Nobody would.
You would, but you better. I'll come back and haunt you, you bastard.
I'd be dead already.
Oh, aye, true. Oh, aye, you would be the fool. I know, that's absolutely right.
Like,
well, then
I don't really understand. Like you're not surviving it regardless. Might as well take the world out with you.
Nah, that's so selfish, man. That is so selfish. That is so selfish.
Fucking hell.
Nah, that's pure savage as fuck. Like, that's a pure brat patter, and not brat in the Charlie XCX sense of the word. Brat as in, oh, if I can't have my way, nobody can. Me. Do you know what I mean? Nah, fuck him. Shite bag.
So selfish. That's amazing. Oh, fair dues.
Is this a hot take?
Oh, I think it is. These guys have been trying to kill you all night. Oh, you should just die. You should just die for us. Fuck off.
No, I think that older I'm getting, the more I'm like, oh, it's fucking terrible. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm getting I'm on like the side of the corporation, you know?
Screw that fucking
I'm
corporation.
Like, you guys are sound, you are just trying to help us, it's fine. Like,
I really try to help us.
I know, or no, I don't even want to know what kind of person I've just outed myself as. You know what I mean, though?
I get you. I get you.
That's alright then. Do you, but you're giving me the side eye.
No, I get you. I've got you. So, different movie. Who have you got?
I don't have anybody. I felt like everybody in this was grand.
I've got a security guard.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll give you
like,
that.
He goes on about all this stuff and he's shite anyway, just dies straight away.
I will not abandon my post. Like, alright, calm down.
Doing all the checks, dies. I was Black Ops and that. And flow of monsters kill him.
Nah,
pish.
And as well, he's all, like, do you know that way? He's like that really self-entitled way, like where like he's like, oh, do you not think this is all a bit barbaric? And it's like, yes, but we need to have a bit of fun with it. Like, here.
That's it. How, like, he must have known what he was signing up for.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, you can't fling somebody into that and just be like, nah, they'll be fine with it. Because obviously what they're doing is killing people.
Yeah.
Like, with weird monsters.
Yeah.
You must need to give them a heads up.
Just be like, oh, by the way.
Yeah,
like,
this is what's happening here.
It's not just a bouncer job, like, you're actual a way to do shit. Yeah.
And why do they need security? They guys in that, like, locked room.
Just in case this movie happened. I don't know.
But it did, and he didn't do it. So fuck him.
True. He got munched immediately. I fuck him. You're right. I fuck him. No, I didn't have anybody. I thought everyone was kind of who they had to be. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, fair enough. What about I'm Out?
Last 10 minutes of the film, really.
I've got the exact same.
That's the thing is, like, I think this movie, like, love it, and I love what it does, as in, like, horror comedy that takes all the tropes and throws it on its head. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, the last 10 minutes is just to be, but then you sit and watch it because it's the last 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know the ending, especially as soon as the hand comes out like that. Every time it's like, oh, this could have been so much. The ending could have been 10 times better.
Yeah.
I don't know what they could have done. Not a writer. Like, can't really say anything, but it's just, it's frustrating. So frustrating. After the build up to all that, and it's just a hand coming out and, like, crushing everything. That's shit.
No, totally. No, I'm with you. Aye, fair play. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. This has been our Cabin in the Woods episode. Obviously, last week we did the 4 of our favourite horror tropes. So, obviously, this week we were doing like horror comedy. Next week we're going zombie, I think.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So, we'll see you next week for Zombie Week. Cheerio.
Bye.